I just really want to push forward and out there the change that I've been able to make in my life. The last thing I want to see is anybody else struggling like that, thinking that they don't have any hope. That was my intention in the first place, is to try to reach out to people who maybe they were struggling with drugs or struggling with weight loss or whatever they were struggling with, that felt like they didn't have a chance, like things were too hard, it was too difficult to do, or they didn't believe that you could make a change. Because, man, I'll tell you, when I was getting off drugs, I didn't believe that people could be sober. Honestly, I thought that if you had been addicted to drugs, you were always going to be that way. I would see the people at like NA or AA and stuff, and they seemed all right, but almost all of them would end up relapsing, or their behavior was just as bad off of drugs as it was on drugs. And I just didn't believe that they could be happy. And I thought most of them were lying anyway. I was like, most of these people are lying. They're actually still using. But, that wasn't them. That part was me. Just not trusting them and thinking that everything had to be miserable because I was miserable. But I started doing this because I wanted to try to reach out to those people and try to just show them that, not that I'm perfect by any means, just show them though that you can get through it. Like, you can get through that kind of life and come out for the better. And I did. I'm blessed beyond blessed. I don't have a lot of money. Matter of fact, there's months where things are kind of hard, but I couldn't be more blessed, man. That's not what it's about. Even on the months that, it's hard to pay the mortgage or it's hard to come up with a car note or whatever, I'm blessed to be able to have the opportunity to do it, when in the past, I couldn't, we didn't even have a car note to pay. Like, there was no car. Nobody would give us a car. We didn't have a house. We didn't have a mortgage. We didn't have rent. We didn't have stuff to fix or do. I didn't have a camera to talk to about it. I didn't have a computer to edit stuff. I didn't have a way to make money. I could just go on and on. I didn't have anything. I didn't even have the same phone number for more than a month. It was rough. And then the people who loved me, were through with me, and that's not their fault. That's my fault, because, I kept on. I just kept on doing shit that would make people want to stay away from you. So I was living that life, in and out of hotels, being with different girls that I couldn't stand and didn't like and weren't my type, and I didn't want to be with, all because I needed something from them or they needed something from me. Being friends with people out of circumstances and not because I cared about them. Just doing shit because, living a life that nobody should know anything about. Something I hope that my kids never know anything about. Something that I hope my wife never has to see. I'm glad that she never saw that side of me. When I talk about it, she seems amazed. She's like, I just can't imagine you living like that, being at the gas station and begging people for money. Like, I used to do that shit. Be like, hey, I ran out of gas, give me some money. I'm amazed how many people fell for that shit, but it was dishonest. It wasn't them, it was me. I was being dishonest, trying to talk people into giving me stuff so I could go get high. That's why I don't give people money at the gas station now, because I never met anybody who ever did that shit that wasn't scamming. It's a rough life, man. It is a rough life, and if you're living like that, there is a way out, man. You can get through it. There's no easy button, though, unfortunately. I think that society nowadays tries to make everybody think everything's going to be easy, or try to paint everything like it's easy. Getting off drugs is not easy. You've got to do the one thing that you don't want to do, and that's get off drugs. You have to stop. You have to stop taking them, and that's the first and foremost thing that you have to do if you want to get off drugs, is just stop taking them. And then you get to realize that there's more to it than just taking drugs. That's not the only reason why you're on them. You're not just addicted because of the drugs. Like, you're missing something in your life usually. For me, it was love of myself, not from other people, because other people loved me. I didn't love them, and I didn't love me. Not the way that, in a healthy way. And I was selfish, and I only cared about my enjoyment. And when it turned to misery, I still didn't care enough. And then when I got trapped in it, I didn't know how to get out. And that may be you, I don't know, but you don't have to do that. A lot of people will write me and they'll say, well, how do I get off of that? Or how do I get so-and-so off? You can't, man. You can't get anybody off of anything. They have to want to do that. When I stopped using, I was at a place where I would have done anything to get clean. Like, I wanted to live that life, I just didn't know how. I was tired of being broke, I was tired of being miserable, I was tired of everybody hating me. I was tired of going to jail, I was tired of going to prison or looking at prison. I was tired of everything just always being miserable and scared and scary. I was tired of never having a phone. I was tired of the girls that I wanted to date not wanting to date me back, not because I wasn't their type, but because I didn't have anything to offer. And I was just tired of not having anything, man, never having a place to sleep at that I knew was mine, never having any stability. And, I pushed as hard as I could to get where I needed to be. And, of course, it helped. I'm not gonna lie, it helped. It was definitely motivation to, I don't know if you guys know my story or remember it, but I had gone to jail, thought I was gonna do a lot of time, but I ended up getting a lot of probation instead of having to do jail time in a lot of different places. When I got out, I got probation, and because I got probation in one place and probation in another place, the logistics of that ended up violating one of those probations. It's a longer story than that, but that's the basics of it. I ended up going back to jail even though I hadn't done anything wrong. I was staying off drugs. I was trying to get out of trouble, but I didn't know how. Like, I was working and stuff, but I'm pretty sure that if I had stayed out like that, I probably would have ended up back on drugs because I was getting to be around people like that. I hadn't done it yet though. So it was lucky that I actually ended up going back to jail. That's something I thought I'd never say. Even though I'd done nothing wrong and was doing exactly what I was supposed to, the fact that I got violated probably saved my life. The only way out was to go to rehab. And the only rehab they would let me go to was a 14-month rehab called Teen Challenge. And it sounds like it's for kids, but it's not. They have adult courses too. So I went to Adult Teen Challenge and did 14 months there. And they weren't easy. It was a rocky 14 months. I didn't get along with people there. I don't think they liked me either, which is unusual for me. Usually people like me because I can bullshit them. It's a super Christian place. Yeah, I'm not gonna get into religion, just that not everything that they talked about was something I believed in, and I don't live like this super Christian life now. Like, I'm not doing anything wrong, but I don't have any problem cursing, or I did smoke again after I got out and other stuff like that. Me and my wife lived together a little bit before we got married. They don't like me. They still don't like me, even though I'm successful with staying clean. They don't seem to care anything about my success or me or anything else, and that's disappointing, but it's really irrelevant. My whole point is that we bumped heads a lot there, so it was not an easy 14 months. And a lot of people think of rehab and they think of like swimming pools and flowers and all you can eat food and stuff like that. This was not like that at all. This was like Christian boot camp, man. You had to line your shoes up, make your bed. You couldn't be downstairs without asking somebody. You couldn't be upstairs without asking somebody. You only got to eat certain times of the day. You could only wear certain kinds of clothes. You didn't get to have any money. You had to work for free. Well, it wasn't for free. I'd give them that. It seemed that way, when you're first getting in there because you're selfish. But, you had to work to keep the program going. And I think that applies even now to me. I work and my wife works, and we work for a common goal, and we both give towards that. And I never think about me at all. And, I never go, oh, well, I'm working for me. Why don't I have this, or why don't I get that? And she doesn't either because she was raised right. But I don't. I think because that program, so like I said, I had to work hard, and whatever my work earned went towards keeping that program going. That's good because it taught me to not be so selfish, because doing drugs is a selfish habit, and that's why you can't get somebody else off drugs. I've had a lot of people ask me that, like they're interested in somebody else being on drugs, and unfortunately the only thing you can do is stop doing for those people. Stop enabling them. Don't give them money. Don't believe their bullshit. You can support them, but if they come tell you a lie, tell them they're lying. Say, hey, I love you, but I know you're full of shit and I can't help you. And I'll help you when you prove to me that you're not doing this anymore, because I'm telling you, one of the best things that ever happened to me was running out of options. You can't just keep giving somebody options and then ask why they keep on using. It's impossible. because they'll keep on using as long as they got options, as long as they don't get in trouble anymore, as long as they keep getting bailed out, and as long as they keep having a car or a place to go or a wife to go home to or a house to sleep in, and bills keep getting paid, whatever it is that keeps happening for them, that's just enabling. They're just getting enabled, and they're going to keep going until some shit hits the fan, man. Because if I hadn't been facing jail and losing all my shit, and I've lost my kid and my wife and my family, and everything hadn't gone to hell, I wouldn't have ever tried to get clean. Like, it never would have happened. Me going to jail and not having a way out, even though for that particular time I hadn't done anything. That's a hard one, man. It's hard to go to jail when you know you hadn't done anything. I'd done so much stuff before, but when you're selfish, you don't think about that. That time I went and I didn't do anything. I signed up for probation. They knew about it. They just didn't do their paperwork right, and I got violated. And I was really sore over that. But at the end of the day, man, it was one of the best things that ever happened to me, because it guaranteed me the time I needed to get my head straight, get through that program, get through that jail. And now it's almost been 15 years, man. I can't even believe it. It seems like a whole nother life. Like, all of that shit seems like I'm talking about somebody else. It doesn't seem like me. There's people who know me who have never seen that side of me. And there's people who know me that's only seen that side of me because they never saw me again after that. They may be seeing me again for the first time right here and going, hey, I know that guy. I used to get high with that guy. I'm from Nashville. One of the people that I used to run into a lot was the guy he's famous now. His name's Jelly Roll. We ran around a lot in the same circles. There was a few other people too, but he's probably the most famous of anybody I knew. And plus, he was in direct, like, I don't know if he would remember me, but I wouldn't be surprised if he did or didn't. Probably like me, hadn't thought about that stuff in a long time. But I always thought that was funny, man. But it's so cool to see that guy doing so well, to see him just really killing it, man. And such a nice, humble guy. I see him all the time. He seems to want to stay out of the bullshit. He doesn't seem to get into politics or any of the normal stuff that's going on, man. He just seems really happy for the chance, and I feel the exact same way. I do. I'm so thankful for the chance to just live life, man, and be free, because if you only knew the amount of people that I know that are dead and never got the chance. They're in jail, they're dead, they didn't make it, or they're still doing it, which is few. I know very few people who are still doing it that were doing it when I was, because this isn't something you do or you get a long life. You don't get a long life as a needle junkie. You don't get a long life as a crackhead. You don't get a long life as a dope dealer. Like, those things end. They have expiration dates. You die, you go to jail, you go to prison, people kill you, things like that. I've had so many things happen where I should have died. I remember one time I woke up after getting high all night with these people. This lady woke up and thought I had stole her dope, even though we both been asleep. And this bitch starts unloading a 12-gauge shotgun at me. And how she didn't hit me, I don't know. Like, nothing in the world should have stopped her from hitting me. I remember running and hearing that thing unload behind me and seeing shit explode beside me and just not believing that I walked away from that. She was nuts. But, dope does that to people. She woke up and thought that something had happened, and nothing had happened. She didn't have any dope. Neither one of us did. So I went to sleep. And man, that woman tried to kill me. And that ain't, that's just one time that I remember. I'm sitting here laughing about it, but I'm not glorifying that shit at all, man. I'm laughing because of how crazy it is. Oh, God, leave, man. You scared the shit out of me. You good, man? Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. But I was thinking about that shotgun, and somebody said something behind me about maybe piss myself. But anyway, man, that's I'm getting off on a tangent. That's what I wanted this channel to be. I don't think, I don't know that I can talk about the same story every time, and I don't want to tell stories like that end up glorifying that kind of behavior or that kind of lifestyle. That's the last thing I want to do. I want to see as many people get off of that shit, man, and live a regular life. So what I'm gonna do is try to do some chores around the house. I got a lot of tools and a lot of stuff that I've invested into trying to fix that stuff. And I think that it'll be fun for us to try to get my life back in order. It is a mess, man. It is a mess. When I tell you that I left stuff half baked, half done, didn't finish. I am a lucky man to have a wife who's so patient and so loving, because most people wouldn't do that. You know, we've got a ceiling falling down in the kitchen. There's just a lot of things that I started doing, you know, that had no reason to even be the way they are, other than I just stopped doing them. Our kitchen did flood, and we ended up, you know, having to remodel that. But like the bathroom, I just did that because I wanted to, and then stopped in the middle because of what happened with Alyssa, you know, with her passing away. So I'm going to change the channel name this week. Still making fine adjustments to what that's going to be. Do me a favor, there's a link up here. If you want to support any of that, what's coming up or anything that I'm doing, you can scan that QR code, or I think you can just screenshot it and long press it, and you're able to donate. Nobody's saying you have to. It's not part of having to watch me. I'm still going to make content, but if you do want to support it, you can do it there. You can always just hit like, you can always subscribe, and share a video. That helps just as much too. So thanks guys, I'll see you tomorrow. It's starting to rain, so I'm gonna get back home. See you tomorrow.